Hey, Dr. Melonie Boone here, and welcome to episode 4 of Moments with Melonie. In this short episode, we are going to talk about something that I think we all face, and that is struggling with procrastination. And so, if you're like me and you've ever said oh, I'll wait till tomorrow, it's not due till Friday, so I'll start it Friday morning, or I'll do it when I feel motivated, you are actually not alone. But the truth is motivation follows action, right? Not the other way around. So in order to gain momentum, in order to gain that motivation, science has shown that you really need to start the action first. And so we're going to break down in this episode why we procrastinate and how to start taking action immediately. And this topic is always something that I'm fighting with. And so when I was thinking about what the episode would be, and actually I was procrastinating on figuring out when I was going to record this episode, procrastination just became one of those things that I really wanted to look into. So as you know, in these episodes, I try to draw from science and theory and what we're seeing around the facts on the topics that I talk about. And so what we're finding with why we procrastinate, and this is the biggest thing that I actually shared with my husband, is we do not procrastinate out of laziness. And I think that is a common misconception, that a person is lazy and therefore they are not doing. But it actually is about avoiding discomfort. And so neuroscientific research shows that when we dread a task, our brain interprets it as a threat, and it activates a trigger of avoidance. So again, when we procrastinate, and I actually love that this is scientifically grounded, you are not being lazy, right? Even though you actually may feel that way. Why don't I just get up and do it? Why can't I pull myself together and complete this thing? But the more you dread a task, the more it's going to trigger the avoidance. And so this is why, you'll scroll through social media instead of writing a report, or cleaning the house instead of working on your goals. It really is a dopamine-driven escape. And so how do we overcome procrastination? There's a couple ways that you can do that. The first way is to use the 5-minute rule. So with the 5-minute rule, you are going to commit to working on a task for just 5 minutes. And believe it or not, studies show that once we start, we're more likely to keep going. So that thing that you really don't want to do, if you just give it 5 minutes, more often than not, you will carry through and complete that task. The second thing you can do is you can break it down into micro tasks. So I also struggle sometimes when I have this really big thing that's going to take a super long time. My dissertation for my PhD is a perfect example of that. That has to be self-driven. You have to be motivated to get through something like that, whether it's dissertation, preparing for a project at work, or a big presentation. And we can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelmed. So instead of trying to write the whole book or complete the whole task at one time, when you break it down into micro tasks, you actually start with just writing the paragraph first, for example. So instead of exercise, you start with do 5 minutes of movement, for example. Small steps can help reduce how overwhelmed you are and build momentum. And I actually like this one too for teams. If you are leading a team, or if you are a part of a team, breaking some tasks down into micro tasks can actually help the team stay focused as well, and help eliminate some of that group procrastination that can happen. And then the third thing is creating accountability. So we all know that when someone is holding us accountable, or when we have an accountability partner, we're much more likely to start and complete a task. So if you tell a friend, if you set a deadline, or you set a reward, accountability can increase follow through by 65%. And so as I struggle with procrastination, I definitely give myself deadlines. I try to make my deadline earlier than the actual deadline, because I know that I'm going to procrastinate on certain things. And that helps me to I am very competitive. And so I'm going to want to complete that task by the date or the time that I've set for it to be due. I also will put these due dates on my calendar with reminders, things so that I can see them pop up and know that like I have something that is due, that needs to be done. But what we find is procrastination is really just fear in disguise, especially for those super big things, the switching careers, the taking leaps of faith on things, the betting on yourself or taking those risks. You may procrastinate on those out of fear. So if we take one small step today, and your future self will really thank you. So as you're thinking about the things that you need to do, the things that you need to accomplish, the things that are holding you back, know that it's not laziness. Take some time to really self-reflect. I've got several episodes on self-reflection because I think it is so powerful. But take time to self-reflect on why you are procrastinating. Get some accountability partners around you. And then, let me know how you're taking action, whether it's through social media, #MomentsWithMelonie. And then don't forget to subscribe, to share, and to let me know what topics you want to cover on the podcast. If you're struggling with procrastination and want some more tips, please feel free to reach out to me. I am on LinkedIn, Melonie M. Boone, and then I am also on Instagram. So reach out to me and let me know how you are combating your procrastination. And then I will see you on the next episode of Moments with Melonie. Thank you.